Object shows have a lot of problems. Voting sucks, edgy object shows suck, weighting sucks, animation, writing, voice acting, they all suck too. You know what doesn't suck? Knowing things. Okay, that probably sounded a little harsh. Let me explain myself. Voting in object shows is terrible. For one thing, even if you're not voting to eliminate a contestant, say you're voting to pick a challenge or to bring someone back, every hour of voting time is another hour wasted not making the show. For another, every vote that has ever happened in any object show can be summarised thus. Who was the biggest arsehole on the team / in the game this episode? Did they get the most votes? I know, I'm psychic, right? A lot of this comes down to the audience. Kids are smart, but for the most part have a very simple black and white morality. The vote the arsehole strategy is really all you can ever expect. The solution, in my opinion, is simple. Stop putting voting in object shows. You want character arcs, you want progression, you want more time? Just stop voting. Characters in the show can vote, that's fine, you have complete control over it, but no more votes. None, for anything. Just stop. And you can thank me later for giving you more writing time, because boy do you need it. You'd think, 7-8 years after the original release of Battle for Dream Island, that the writing standards of the object show genre would be higher. You'd be entirely wrong. Oh sure, people will eat up just about anything, they're kids. They don't care. But I think you can do better. If your characters, for example, are a collection of stereotypes, you're doing it wrong. It's okay to base some of their personality on some feature of the object they're based on, but show some creativity, give them some depth, and write things actual people would say. Stilted dialogue is garbage. You're going to look back at this and cringe 5 years from now if you don't, and your voice actors will be. I have legs in my pants? Sorry, hold on. There. The number one most important thing to do is to avoid clipping. If you're using Audacity, it's easy. Turn down the volume on your mic by dragging this to the left. You can make it a little louder later, but for now, we just want to avoid the waveform getting clipped here and here. If you're not using Audacity, I don't know what to do, but this might help. The number two most important thing is to stop using New Friendly. It's been done. Be more creative. Mr. McLeod has a massive library of music. You don't have to pick New Friendly. And make sure your actors can actually act. Also remember that the majority of your audience will be native English speakers, so try to avoid any particularly thick accents, or at the very least provide subtitles. And if you're doing a musical number, make sure each cast member involved is comfortable with and can comfortably sing while in character. Inanimate Insanity 2 has a really good example of how to not quite make it in the form of Life in the Limelight. D, you tried, but you honestly need just a bit of vocal training to get it perfect. If it makes you feel better, you're not all that high on my list of issues with Inanimate Insanity. Oh yeah, I have a few issues with Inanimate Insanity. I'll probably make a video at some point all about that. And it could be worse. At least you're well at. This is not animation. Animation involves, well, animation, movement, action. This is just a glorified slideshow with voice acting over the top. This doesn't even have voice acting. If you have Flash, or really any other program, I'm sure someone will link some good ones below, learn it before you start making your object show. If you're using assets, make them good, and use them right. Draw good backgrounds that aren't just a featureless field with a clear sky. Make interesting, original character designs. Light them correctly in every situation. Make sure your motion is fluid and your lines are solid. If you can't pull all that off, I think you might be in the wrong industry. Here, watch this video by Alan Becker on the 12 Principles of Animation, then come back here. We good? Good. Now all you have to do is avoid putting blood everywhere. Stop. You're trying to push the genre too far too fast. Objects don't bleed. It makes sense if the object contains liquid that some might come out if they're injured in a specific way, but unless the object naturally contains blood, don't make it bleed. If you're putting swearing in your script, why? It sounds totally unnatural, stop forcing it to happen. You could be making characters with depth in any other show, but you choose to do this, and I'm sorry, but the genre isn't advanced enough to support your fever dream. Just stop. And then go make something else real quick, because people are going to get impatient real fast. This is the one real, uncontrollable aspect of the whole thing. The only advice I can give you is to stop telling your audience when you want the next episode to come out, because you're going to end up lying to them, and there's nothing people hate more than being lied to. Continue to set reasonable deadlines and goals for yourself, but until you can absolutely guarantee a release date, don't make it public. And take your time, man. Don't burn yourself out. There'll still be a seat at the table for you if you need to step out for a bit. And if school becomes a problem, school comes first. Go get an A in art. Go ace that test. Go join the book club. And when you come back, make the best object show the world has ever seen. Which will be very easy because you followed all my advice. And why have you followed all my advice? Simple. Because I'm Tantusar, and I know things about object shows.